Steadfast going to Aspire, which is a decent solution to Banshees, especially if they're trying to be evasive. And also okay for Cyclones is if you make a bunch of mutas, they're just faster. So they can actually start to run this stuff down and not let them just kind of pull away like this.
Yeah, and that lock-on, too, against a flock of mutas, not as effective, I think, because, you know, there's more of them. Yeah, you want to use that on the big things like Queens or Ultras or whatever the case may be. But no, so far, though, this is proven to be a little bit risky of a move here for Steadfast. He's got 3 Queens off of creep. So far, hasn't been abused too much by those Banshees, but they are going to be able to kind of sneak by. Yeah, man, they're so fast. It almost looks like the game is sped up when they get their hyper.
A little bit. I know, it's crazy. They just have, like, no turning radius time or anything.
Yeah.
And yeah, like there's now 4 Banshees just kind of like going around killing stuff. And this is definitely annoying. Like Steadfast has had the economic lead the entire game, and now we're starting to see that crumble.
Oh yeah, he's losing Queens as well. These units are able to find, just kind of the perfect spot to sit. It's almost like testing the water. You know, they'll put, oh, that's a bad spot. Oh, that's a bad spot. Until they find that sweet spot. And once they get it, it's good. That's my strategy.
So here come the mutas to try and clean this up.
Yeah, like you said, they're just so much faster. They're going to be able to chase this down pretty easily, I think, now. Oh, and no more energy, so the Banshees aren't going to be able to cloak and hide.
Yeah,
one does manage to cloak, but that won't last long.
Yeah, I think it's got like 2 energy. Yeah.
Bloop.
Will be picked off as well. So yeah, this reclaims control of the skies for the time being. And the Banshees just kind of continue to get into the backfield here. And a lot of it at this point, too, is control. Like, so the APM of MicroMachine is at 56,000. And Steadfast is at a very respectable human, like 470. But, but that's, you know, it's orders of magnitude different.
A lot of that you can see right here is actually a very good example. All the Hellions not doing anything, but they're all just moving around. So that's where a lot of that is going into.
Yeah.
So even though the APM is very high, the EPM, the effective actions for or whatever the heck it is, not as much. It doesn't equate, you know, the same. Ooh, I don't know about this pushing across. You know, he's trying to get that beast. He's trying to get some damage done, but he's going to lose a Corruptor. He's losing Hydras and Lings, and he's just kind of surrounded by Terran at this moment. So all these forces, all these Hydras are going to go down. It's like all the Lings too. So yeah, that army supply is hurting a little bit for Steadfast. He's having trouble keeping it up there.
Yeah, and he's now like I in fact like encountered some of this too. Of like you would start to go out and then realize that like you're not sustainable outside. And here's Hellions in the 3rd base. Oh, nice Reaper Grenade actually in the middle of all those Banelings. But he does clean up a lot of this.
Oh, man, it feels like Sif has barely holding on here. He is going to finally be able to push this big force back. But the army supply is almost double still for our Terran player. It's kind of like we saw against your game, even in your game, where you're shutting things down, you're staying on top of it. Yeah, there we go. Steadfast is finally getting up in that worker count. Yeah, does want to be around that like 70, 80-ish mark, I would say, against MicroMachine. He's starting to break through, actually. Steadfast getting onto the mineral lines here a little bit. BCs are going to be able to push this way. That Cloak Banshee obviously still doing a great job. The Cloak, even though there's detection out, the Cloak has been very helpful for these Banshees, just in a lot of engagements around the map.